Good Saturday afternoon. I'm KHOU 11 Meteorologist Chris Ramirez. I wanted to give you a quick weather update on what to expect for this afternoon here across the Houston area. We are still expecting some widespread storms to move through town later on this evening. That timing is still the same, not too much of a change in our forecast from this morning's newscast, but it's going to range between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. Starting at 8 p.m., we will start seeing these storms move into our northern counties, even though it's not out of the question that we could see another flare-up of maybe a storm or two ahead of that time. So definitely keep an eye on your app notifications from the KHOU 11 app for the rest of this afternoon. But looking at our forecast for the rest of the day, we're going to be under a weather impact alert for today, lasting through much of the day. That rain chance, of course, like I just mentioned, ramping up between 8 o'clock, moving through the Houston area between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. and eventually nearing our coastal areas between 2 to 3 a.m. So definitely keep that in mind if you do have those outdoor plans, or I know it's a Saturday night and you probably want to be out on the town, but we will see those storms move on in, as we are also expecting warm temperatures for this afternoon. So looking at the current situation, this is the big picture looking at the average flight delays currently as of now. We're not seeing much of anything here in Houston. We've seen some isolated showers, but for those flights going to the Midwest, they're looking at delays at an hour out in Chicago. As you see there on your screen, widespread snow moving through the Midwest, all a part of this massive weather system that is eventually going to be responsible for giving us our fair share of storms. We're not going to see snow, but we will see some strong storms later on this evening. But if you are flying out to Chicago or the Midwest, we are looking at some delays averaging at an hour. So radar here across the Houston area, we're starting to see that rain become a little bit heavier since the past 30 minutes, and this is all thanks to us warming up for the past hour or so. And so the warmer temperatures, the humid conditions is really going to fuel that storm activity as we progress through the rest of our afternoon. So looking at our radar right now, conditions are quiet here across Houston, but we're starting to see some of those areas to the northwest of town. This is in and around the Cypress area where you're starting to see that rain becoming a bit moderate to heavy, and that's where we could start seeing some ponding on roadways, and this is really giving us a sign that this could become a bit stronger as we progress through our evening. You're seeing a little bit of a surface boundary moving through our northern areas right now, but I believe that that's just the initial frontal boundary. I think it's not really going to be until these little storms that you see up near Dallas, Fort Worth, that's what we're waiting on to move through our area, and that's going to take some time, and we're not expecting that line of storms to make it to Houston at least until later on this evening as it moves across Texas. That's that cold front that's going to be also responsible for the surge of colder temperatures as we head into Sunday and Monday. So looking at the timing once again as we go to looking at our future track is showing that we could start seeing some of those storms becoming a bit more heavy and widespread, starting as early as 8:30 for our western areas. But like I said, it was from 8 to 9 is when we're going to start seeing them moving into Huntsville, Livingston, even Cleveland. And I'm going to go ahead and back that up just a little bit. But as we get closer towards around 12:30 is when we really could see those storms moving through the Houston area, and that's 12:30 a.m. Sunday morning in the overnight hours. So it's going to be more of a later system as we go into the overnight hours, and eventually as we progress closer towards 2 to 3 a.m., that's when we're expecting to see those storms move through our coastal areas from Galveston to Freeport. So rounds of storms moving through later on this evening. That is really the case for the rest of our afternoon, and this is going to be clearing out into at least by Sunday morning, and we are going to see the surge of cooler temperatures. You're able to see those temps. We're going to be waking up tomorrow with temps in the 40s, even though it is a bit warmer for today. I'm already looking out the window right now. I'm seeing a little bit of sunshine, and when we have that sunshine, that really is not good news, especially when it comes to an unstable atmosphere like we're seeing right now. So that could cause, that warming could really fuel that storm activity as we progress through the rest of our afternoon. And it's the reason why the Storm Prediction Center is keeping us under a marginal risk for severe weather. That does include the risk for strong wind, isolated hail, and an isolated tornado. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to see a severe storm. Just know that that severe storm risk is going to be isolated, but everybody is going to receive heavy rain and possibly some dangerous lightning later on this evening. But just keep an eye that that strong storm potential, that severe storm potential could really be anywhere across our area, and all the areas that you see shaded in green. That does include all of southeast Texas for this evening. So this is all a part of a front. We do have another disturbance on the way that will bring some more rain chances into Monday, but we're also looking at a surge of cooler temperatures. So we're going to be off to a pretty gloomy and dreary start to our week next week, and we're going to ring in December a bit cold and rainy. As you're able to see, Monday is looking like we're going to see those widespread showers across southeast Texas. And so when you do look at that in combination with the temperatures that we're forecasting to see, that's going to be a miserable start to our work week as we head back to work or school. So in the 70s right now, but once this front moves through for tomorrow, we will start seeing those temps drop into the 50s and the 40s, and it looking like Monday morning is going to be the colder morning within the next couple of days, and we are expecting temps to really not warm up all that much Monday. And when you combine rain with that, that's really just going to make things a little bit miserable and not ideal for outdoor activities at all, or any type of walking outside. You're going to need your umbrella and possibly a pretty thick jacket. It's going to be pretty cold out there for the start of our Monday. But looking at our 7-day forecast, we are expecting it to be a little bit of an active next 7 days here across Houston, with highs in the 50s for tomorrow. We're seeing warm conditions today. We're expecting that storm chance, that cold front to arrive later on this evening, which will bring back those chilly temperatures for Sunday and into Monday. It's going to bring some widespread showers for Monday, and then we're going to remain rather chilly, at least as through the first week of December, which December starts on Monday. And so we're going to ring in December a bit cold and just a bit rainy across our area. So definitely bundle up out there and have those jackets and umbrellas on standby if you are moving or traveling across southeast Texas. So just for those that are just now joining us on KHOU 11 Plus, this is our extended update from what we're expecting to see later on this afternoon. This is really the update that's showing that we are expecting more rounds of storms later on today. This is going to start at 8 p.m. through 3 a.m. and we do have that tornado wind and hail threat with our evening that could impact some evening travel plans, especially if you are heading across the country, or maybe you're heading on that road trip back to your destination or across Houston. Just keep in mind that we are looking at some hit or miss showers along I-45 north towards Dallas, even towards San Antonio. And right now you're able to see we have a weather system moving through the Midwest. It's centered across the Midwest, and it's causing some massive delays out in the Chicago area. And so they're looking at delays averaging now at 75 minutes. It was just an hour when I first started this stream. Now we're looking at those delays up to 75 minutes in Chicago. I believe that's at Chicago O'Hare, and those blue colors is actual snowfall. That's widespread snow that is moving through the Midwest with this massive mid-latitude cyclone that is moving through the country, and it's really going to be the cause of our fair share of storms. Even though we're not looking at any winter weather, we will see those storms becoming a bit stronger as that front moves through and it arrives here across the Houston area. So radar as of 2:08 p.m. is looking a bit active. We're seeing that moderate to heavy rainfall starting to become a bit more heavier from what we saw this morning. And also I'm looking outside, and as we're seeing that sunshine, and we could start seeing maybe some lightning strikes with those isolated showers and those isolated downpours that are moving through just northwest of Houston. But we're not out of the woods yet. We still have more rain on the way. That's what our short-term weather model is showing. And just keep in mind, like I said before, starting at 8:30 between 9 is when we're going to start seeing that rain becoming widespread and sweep through southeast Texas later on today. And that is really the case for us. And so if you do have those evening plans, and if you're planning to stay out as late as 11 o'clock, 12 a.m., you could be looking at storms, and definitely be ahead of that. And not really a good night to really be out, because you don't want to be out parking 2 miles away from your vehicle and having to deal with these storms if they do cause some ponding on roadways out there for tonight. So again, just to wrap this up, this is a look at your 7-day forecast. We are expecting widespread storms later on tonight, pretty late tonight, by the way, and cold front. This is all associated with a cold front, which will bring back those chilly temperatures, and we are looking at another disturbance arriving on Monday, which will bring back some cold conditions and rainy conditions across Monday. So when you combine that rain with those temps in the 40s, I think Monday is looking 10 out of 10 on the miserable scale factor for the start of our work week. And so temps are going to warm on up just a bit there as we head into the rest of the week, but we're still going to be chilly, and you're going to need those jackets at least for the next 7 days as we anticipate rainy conditions and cold temperatures as we start our first week of December. And of course, this is our hourly weather update starting at 2 p.m. I started talking at 2 p.m. and we will give you the latest weather updates as we progress through the evening and afternoon hours. As of course, please make sure to join meteorologist Pat Kavlin later on this afternoon. He will give you the latest on the timing of storms as well as what to expect here across the Houston area. Again, I'm meteorologist Chris Ramirez with your extended weather update on KHOU 11+.